Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, so here's the thing. For the people that have been in my live stream, I was saying yesterday, or the day before, I think it was yesterday, that when it comes towards Willow and Drew, going to the hospital is damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? Like, either way, if Drew and Willow did not show up, we all know that they were going to sit there and talk ish about them. So that they're saying, well, you didn't show up because you're too busy wrapped up together in each other. And if they show up, well, we clearly saw what ended up happening today. But in all reality, when I sat there and I watched it today, I can see how those two showing up was so not a good idea. It really wasn't because, yeah, you can be concerned and everything like that. You can still love him, even though that you hurt him. I get that. But going to that hospital was a clear mistake. And it's something that Jess said to me a couple weeks ago. As much as I like Drew, Drew is the type of person that does not know how to read the room, right? He really does not know how to read the room. Because after he runs in with Curtis, which, by the way, I'm going to be honest, Curtis, he kind of irked me today. Isn't it they're telling Drew to leave? Because at the end of the day, bro, that's not your call to make. You're not family. And to be honest, you don't have no say-so in this situation. And it's, the thing is, it's very easy for him to sit there and say, well, if it was me, I would have sat there and slept with so-and-so. Yeah, everyone can sit there and say that in hindsight. But I don't think that people understand, yeah, what Drew did was wrong, okay? I'm not going to sit there and try to say otherwise. But I don't like his little attitude of, well, I wouldn't have sat there and done that. Well, of course. But he's not perfect either. And there's things that he's done in his life that he probably shouldn't have done. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what just kind of annoys me. That certain level of judgment. So honestly, to tell you the truth, he needs to shut the F up forever. Now, here's the thing when he gets in the room to try to look for Carly. This is stupid. This was probably among the dumbest things that he could have done so far. Well, second, if we're going to be honest. Because, come on, bro. You literally sat there and slept with her son's wife. And now her son is not there fighting for his life. And your dumb ass decided to show up there and say, oh, I just want to sit there and offer my sympathies and everything. Bro, are you, like, seriously? I feel like you being there is actually way worse than if you just would have stayed away. Now, Carly starts going in on him. You cheated with this, you slept with da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Carly, how many men have you sat there and cheated on? So part of me is kind of like, I get where you're coming from at the same time, but you're a hypocrite at this point. I honestly do feel that people that do cheat don't get to sit there and tell somebody else or get to sit there and ream somebody else for the same thing that they've done. And Carly has a history of that. So, to be honest, you can kind of miss me with that BS. And then Carly says, you don't care about anyone except yourself, or da 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 da. And I'm like, you do realize that he did go to jail for you, right? He went to jail, almost got killed, spent time away from his family, his child, to go to jail so this way you can be with your daughter. And you're going to sit there and say that he doesn't care, he's only self-involved? Are you kidding me? Like, again, you can miss me with that. But I will sit there and say his ass shouldn't have been there in the first place. Let's start with Jocelyn for a hot minute. Remember what I said before? Yeah, this same thing applies to Jocelyn's ass. Because the truth of the matter is, even with Carly and Jocelyn, I get it. They're emotional right now, emotions running high, and so they're just reacting. Jocelyn's another person that needs to shut the F up in this sense. because when Willow was like, out of all people, you should understand. And Jocelyn wants to sit there and start making excuses. Well, you were married and you had kids. It doesn't matter. You use Cam like a goddamn toilet seat. You don't get to sit there and judge somebody else for something that you did. That's not how that works. Okay? Because right now you're just coming across as a goddamn hypocrite. So you really need to sit there and beef them up here to take that ish down there. And then you have the audacity to sit there and call her a skank. Well, what do you think you were? Now, don't get me wrong. I despise slut shaming with a passion. Okay? But you don't get to call somebody else that because they cheated and you did the exact same thing. And yeah, people can sit there and say, well, it's different because they're married and kids. It doesn't matter. The point is, you cheated. I will sit there and say, but Jocelyn, she had a point. Willow has a history of doing that. So I will give Jocelyn her credit because, yeah, she read her. And that's exactly right. Willow just had to sit there and be like, yeah, I kind of do have a history of doing that. So I will sit there and say that much. But besides that, boo, you are no better. So let's not go there. You know, Diane and Marty, I can't really. They're lawyers, and that's pretty much their job. They're lawyers. This is a very shitty situation in a lot of ways. Both of them, from both sides, Carly and Diane, and Nina and Marty, are just looking at this tragedy as an opportunity to get custody of those kids. They're both kind of coming at this in this viper mentality situation, which is just a damn shame. But apparently Diane got there first. And she came there with Chase. And after they finished questioning Jason and everything like that with Anna, you and Diane, it was like, yo, listen, we're getting the kids. And Nina was like, no, you're not going to do that. Okay, I guess you're going to sit there and be in handcuffs then. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's, they're using this situation to get custody from them. And of course, Diane Smith is saying, well, something about unstable life or whatever because she took the kids across state lines, which was stupid. Let's just be real. It was dumb. It was acidine. It was stupid, and it's one of those things where it's like she just wasn't even thinking. Like, really? You're a nurse and a school teacher, and now you're deciding to not use your brain. Okay, sure. This is where the episode starts to fall apart, though. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice that Anna and Jack or Brendan can sit there and kind of put their ish aside to try to find out who set the bomb, who set the explosion, right? But then you have Molly come in, and I'm kind of just like, why? Now she says she comes there so this way she can support Christina, and then she talks about how her and Michael's relationship was kind of there, but not really there because they were both career people and, they had other lives and they were just too busy. But part of me was like, was she really needed there today? I would almost say the same thing about Christina in a sense, but I get it. That's her brother. And, she's handling it the way that any person would handle the situation. Seeing a loved one in the hospital with bandages and things of that nature, it's a very scary thing, right? And she feels kind of ashamed about it, but if you've ever been in that situation, you get where she's coming from. So after Curtis dumbass was sitting there getting off in Drew's face talking about, oh well, you don't need to be here, and Lucas was kind of doing the same thing to some extent. He was sitting there giving Drew hella attitude, I'm kind of on the fence about that one. Um, he went back to talk to Nina, sit there and try to get Nina to talk to Drew, so this way he can not be there. Because let's be honest, let's just be real. Drew wants to sit there and clear his conscience. Yes, he says he wants to apologize for what he's done. Feeling like, listen, if the worst comes to the worst, he wants to sit there and offer his apologies and everything like that. But let's be honest. You really think that Michael wants to see you? Like, seriously, if you were burnt up in a hospital and somebody just was with your wife or husband and you have third degree burn, you really think you want to see them? No, no, you don't. So, like, on some level, I get that people are imperfect. You can do bad things and still be a good person to some extent. So I'm not saying that coming over there isn't somewhat sincere. I feel like there's multiple layers of that. Yes, there's sincerity in it. He does want to apologize, but he also wants to clear his conscience. There's a bit of both. Anyway, Nina's like, I can't do that because I got to be there for my kids and my grandkids and everything like that. But before they can finish their conversation, Diane came with the cops and was like, "Yo, we taking these kids." Um, so I guess somebody's gonna be in some handcuffs. And then Jason comes in there and sits with Michael, and Michael wakes up. See, this is the thing about watching it now, as opposed to when I watched this type of stuff. Oh, I knew I forgot something. Oof. So while Carly was not there running her mouth, saying, "Drew, you're a bad person," da 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 da, she had a point. She was like, listen, you being upset, but you're kind of the reason why Mike was in this bed. Carly was not there praying to God that Michael pulls through. I'm gonna probably sit there and say some stuff that's gonna get people pissed off. It's kind of my specialty, one of many, but I get that to some extent. I get it. But the thing is, Carly, this isn't the first time that you've been in this hospital praying for Michael to be okay. I think it should have been a wake up call after Michael got shot, just for being around Sonny. All the choices that you made, you chose to sit there and be with Sonny. You knew the danger. Michael Morgan got blown up. Now, granted, yes, that wasn't because of Sonny, but violence seems to follow Sonny around. You got Michael back, and now you're in the church again, so that they're asking for Michael to be okay, simply because once again Michael is around Sonny. God isn't a genie, right? I mean, you got a miracle the first time that he got out that hospital bed. And seriously, you chose to be with Sonny afterwards. And now we're back here again. So when Drew's like, listen, you're responsible. Carly could sit there and be angry, give him the death glare or whatever. But we're not going to sit there and try to act like Drew is not making sense just because people don't like him. And I think that's kind of also the problem with this scene with Willow and Jocelyn. See, right now, Willow is public enemy number one, right? And what Willow did was foul. Okay, we're not going to sit there and what Willow did was foul. But I'm not going to sit there and not drag Jocelyn for being a damn hypocrite. You know? Um, you know how I do these reviews. As I always sit there and say, no one is spared the rod. So everybody's sitting there getting it. Now, Jason did sit there before he got questioned and they came back with Sonny and stuff. He was sitting there talking about, we got to get out this lifestyle. Oh, that's not in the middle of something they're saying. They watching this show now, doing what I do versus watching this show, let's say in 2000 and, I don't know, 2000 whatever, or 2000 and, when Reese was there. Remember Reese? I was talking about this story yesterday. Reese got killed off. And I didn't know why, right? And it's interesting because sometimes, DC's always in this saying, I want to watch this from a fan's point of view, and I can kind of understand why. So this whole Michael burning and everything like that, and everyone's like really like, oh my god, this is terrible. But then when you have knowledge of what's really happening, it kind of lessens the impact a little bit, right? Like me knowing, and I said it before, so this is not really a spoiler, that Chad Lewis still isn't a step away, does lessen the impact. It's the same thing with Nathan. When Nathan got killed off, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. But then when I found out that he chose to live, I was like, yeah, it just lessens the impact a little bit. I don't know. I guess a little bit too much knowledge could also be kind of a bad thing when you're watching the show, but it's kind of what I do, so, that's just the price I gotta sit there and pay, I guess. Now, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I might have missed a couple of things because, again, they seem like they doing a lot of other people in there, like Christina, which, again, I get why she was there. Also, kind of just like, oh, Sunny found you on the roof because they're so like, okay, I get it. I get it, I get it, I get it. But I was also kind of like, yeah. I feel like that's about it. I might have missed one or two things, but of course, if I did, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We will talk about all the shows, obviously. For the shows. I don't think I should really have to sit there and say at this point. There's only 4 soap operas left, so, which, okay, February's going to be 5, but, um, yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And anything I missed, talk about it in the comment section.